Hey everyone, it's Monday and I'm Jay Cottrell with eXp Realty here in the Tri-Cities, and it's time for another edition of Real Estate Talk with Jay. So as we've been tracking these week-to-week movements in our local real estate market, really since the beginning of the year, we've just seen kind of pendulum swings. Seems like one week it's one way, another week it's another way, and this week's kind of no different. I really think that they say that 2022 was defined by mortgage rates. Well, so far 2023 is defined by mortgage rates too. When those rates dropped close to right at 6 or just below 6, we saw a ton of buyer activity and a bunch of homes go under contract. Now that they've gotten closer back to 7%, I think we saw a little bit of a slowdown, though not as much as normal. I think everybody's kind of used to the mortgage rates swinging around right now, and determined buyers have pretty much already determined that they're going to buy, and if mortgage rates drop in the next year or so, they're just going to refinance to take advantage of that lower mortgage rate. Anyways, what do you say we go ahead and take a look at the weekly numbers? Okay, so if we go ahead and take the number of new properties that entered the market over the past week and were listed for sale, we can see that was only 148, which is fairly down from what we saw in the previous weeks. The number of pending sales, so homes that went under contract, it continues to climb. It's at 208, though it's a small climb. It is a continued climb in more buyer activity in the local market, and which is to be expected as we start heading into the spring, and especially since it seems like with the weather and everything, spring is kind of here a little bit sooner, despite what the groundhog said. And it should be no surprise that with fewer homes coming on the market to sell and more homes going under contract, that the active inventory took a dive the last week. So we are now under 1,000 homes listed for sale currently as of today. So that has been a continued downward trend since really the beginning of the year. Now, if we look at closed listings, yeah, that is down from the previous week. It's only at 111, but that's still up from where the weekly stats that we started out the month of February with. So with these kind of swings back and forth week to week, the month-end numbers of February is really going to give us a better big picture idea of so far what's happening in our local market this year. Which is also, if you look at the median sales price, and that's pretty much the same. It's remained unchanged. It's in the mid 230s. It was 234, 235, 236. This past week, the 111 closed listings, that median sales price was $234,000. And again, it's just kind of stuck there so far this year. And if you look at the median list price, that has pretty much stayed fairly steady this year as well at $322,000 and some change. And I think what we're seeing is sort of a stabilization of prices in our market, but they're still up from the previous year. So I don't know how the end of 2023 is going to look like compared to the beginning, but so far we still have low inventory and we still have continued home price appreciation. Now let's look at the price reductions. So I do need to have a little bit of a mea culpa here. So when I gave you the information last week that only less than 10% of the current homes listed were at a reduced price from the original list price, well, I clicked the wrong box and I was looking at the wrong numbers. So I have rectified that. So let's just throw away last week's numbers and we'll start afresh this week. And what this tells you, what this week tells me using the right numbers, is that just over a third of the current inventory, that's homes for sale on the market, are at a reduced price from what they originally entered the market as well as about a third of the homes that have sold below their original list price. So that includes two categories. One, either their price was reduced before they sold and it was sold at that reduced price, or the home sold at below its current list price. I hope that makes sense. So roughly about a third. We'll see how that how that changes as we continue to either gain inventory or lose inventory. And with that current reduction of week over week inventory, the median price change dropped. So we were in the mid sixes to low sixes. Well, this past week of the homes that sold, only the median price reduction was 5.7% of the ones that sold at a reduced price. So we're starting to see a little bit of a tightening there. So how this works out throughout the rest of the week, throughout the rest of next week and really throughout the rest of the year, that's hard to predict. We saw all the experts predicted at the beginning of 22 what that was look like, and then by the end of 22 they threw them all out. So I don't want to go too far, but I'm going to say for the rest of this quarter, so this month and then maybe into the second quarter of 2023, we're going to see continued tight inventory and pressure on those home prices to move up. And I expect we might even see that not just the percentage of price reductions start to drop as far as the number of homes that experience a price reduction decrease, but we're going to see the ones that do have a price reduction, we're going to see that number get less and less. But that's really as far as I'm going to say. That's just a prediction. I am not going to set that in stone, because if there's one thing I've learned about the current real estate market and its absolute craziness, is it's really hard to predict. So I'm just looking at so far the first 2 months of the year. Here's kind of what I think maybe the next month to next few months is going to look like. Beyond that, it is anybody's guess at this point. So anyways, I hope you find that information helpful. It's definitely different than the majority of headlines you're getting, because our market is different than what you're seeing in those national headlines. And I can't stress that enough. You can't extrapolate what's going on here locally at home by looking at the national headlines. So if you like this content, please go down below, hit the like button. If you're not already subscribing to my YouTube and Facebook channels, please do so, and also share them. If you find this information good, share. And also share if you know somebody that's looking to move into our area, share it with them so they kind of know what to expect. And also, if you or anyone you know is looking to buy a home, buy property, or buy some investment properties right now, I would love to speak with you. And also, if you know anybody that's going to sell any of those categories, I'd love to meet with them as well, or meet with you to see if I can help you out throughout that process. Anyways, that's it for this week. See you next week.